What's your never meet your hero story? Mine involves Chef Tyler Jensen. If you don't know who that is, he's the guy with like 20 million followers who posts those calming cooking videos where he talks about his humble beginnings and how food saved his life. For years, I watched every single video he put out. I'm talking religiously. I had severe anxiety in high school, and his videos were the only thing that helped me calm down during panic attacks. He'd talk while chopping vegetables, telling stories about his grandmother's kitchen, saying stuff like, "Cooking is love made visible, and everyone deserves a seat at the table." I taught myself to cook entirely through his tutorials. When I was 17, I entered this tiny regional cooking competition in my town. Just 12 people showed up. I made this pasta dish I learned from one of Tyler's videos, and somehow I won. The prize was an invitation to this national food expo 3 states over. I couldn't believe it. And then I saw Tyler Jensen was going to be there as a featured guest doing meet and greets. I saved up for 2 months working at a gas station to afford the bus ticket and cheap hotel. I brought my copy of his first cookbook that I bought used for $6 when I was 15. The pages were falling out and covered in sauce stains from actually using it. I had this whole speech planned in my head about how much his videos meant to me and how he inspired me to cook. The expo was massive, thousands of people everywhere. Tyler's booth had the longest line by far. I waited for almost 3 hours, clutching that beat-up cookbook. I could see him at the table from a distance, wearing these expensive sunglasses inside for some reason. He had an assistant next to him who seemed to be doing most of the talking while Tyler just sat there on his phone. When I finally got to the front, my hands were shaking. I smiled and said, "Hi, Chef Jensen. I'm such a huge fan. Your videos helped me through some really dark times, and I actually learned to cook from watching you." I held out the cookbook. "Would you mind signing this? I know it's old, but it means everything to me." He didn't even look up from his phone, just muttered, "No outside items." I thought he was joking at first. I laughed nervously and said, "Oh, it's your book though, your first one." That's when his assistant leaned forward and said flatly, "We don't sign outside materials. You can purchase a new copy at the booth for $45 and he'll sign that." I felt my face get hot. "I don't have $45. I spent everything just getting here. Can't you just—" Tyler finally looked up, but not at me. He glanced at his assistant and smirked. Then he waved his hand toward 2 security guys standing nearby. They immediately walked over and one of them put his hand on my shoulder. "Please move along or we'll have to escort you out," he said quietly. I was so confused I could barely form words. "I'm not doing anything wrong. I just wanted a signature." Tyler leaned back in his chair, still wearing those stupid sunglasses, and said loud enough for people around us to hear, "This isn't a flea market, kid. Buy a new book like everyone else or get out of line." People were staring. My eyes started burning. I just turned around and walked away as fast as I could, still holding that pathetic cookbook. I felt like the biggest idiot on the planet. 3 hours in line, 2 months of saving money, all that hope, gone in 30 seconds. I spent the rest of the day just wandering around the expo trying not to cry. Later that afternoon, there was this behind-the-scenes event in a side hall where chefs were doing prep work for a demonstration. I walked past because I heard yelling. Through a half-open door, I could see Tyler screaming at his own staff. And I mean screaming, calling them incompetent, throwing a towel at someone's face. Then he started talking about the fans at his booth, laughing about how desperate they were. He said something like, "These people really think I care about their little stories. Half of them are small-town nobodies who won some pathetic chili cook-off and think they're chefs now. Wanna be garbage." Someone with him laughed and said, "But they buy the books." Tyler shrugged. "Exactly. That's all they're good for." I just stood there frozen. This was the same guy who spent years telling people that cooking brought everyone together, that everyone mattered, that food was about community and love. I went back to my hotel room and cried for the first time in years. Not because he didn't sign my book, but because I realized the person I looked up to, the voice that got me through panic attacks and made me believe I was worth something, never actually existed. It was all just branding, just content, just money. I threw the cookbook in a trash can on my way to the bus station. I haven't watched a single one of his videos since.